I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
And the sound of cardboard tearing in the evening. Did anyone see a white cat anywhere? Anyway, welcome BookTube to a new video. This is an unboxing stroke haul video, hence I love the sound of cardboard in the evening. So the beauty of unboxing is you don't quite know, because they're not all the books I've ordered, you don't quite know which ones have actually arrived. I ought to say that this was funded by my sons turned 21 last week, and one of the gifts they both got was a £100 Amazon voucher. Now my non-reading son, this is despite the fact that he's doing a literature degree, he DM'd me on Twitter to say would I buy his £100 voucher off him, because he knows I buy loads of books on Amazon. So I said, yeah, sure. And this, plus the ones to come, represent about 40% of that, spent within 10 minutes of it going live on my account. Anyway, book number one. I say one, there might be two in here for all I know. No, it's a one. The Lost Children Archive by Valeria Luiselli. This is on the long list for the Women's Prize for Fiction. I've read one previous Valeria Luiselli book, which is called The Story of My Teeth, and was very enjoyable. I think it was a 4-star read. But I think this is very different, and that was sort of quite quirky and kooky. I think this is, although I think experimental in its narrative form, this is much more serious, because what Valeria Luiselli also does, in addition to being a novelist, is she gives either advice or legal representation, I'm not exactly sure, to undocumented migrant children in America. She's of Mexican origin herself. So I'm really looking forward to this. Quite chunky. This is from the book depository. I don't know if this is recent, but you know, I go to Marketplace quite a lot for my books on Amazon, often because Amazon don't stock the ones that I'm after. And I don't know if this is just me not being observant in the past, but book depository seems to be at the top of the Marketplace options that you're offered. Of course, book depository don't charge you postage, so I don't know if that's a new thing or I just, only just noticed it. Yara Rodriguez, Stubborn Archivist. So I'm just going to read the back of this. Stubborn Archivist is an intimate and wonderfully resourceful exploration of origins. In its quest to uncover what a person is made of, it digs deeply into the living body, as well as tracing back through its tangled roots. Visceral and elegant, circumspect and vivid, Yara Rodriguez Fowler has a distinctly unhampered way of telling a story. I liked Stubborn Archivist very much. That was by Claire Louise Bennett, who wrote Pond, which I didn't like. There's also quotes here from Olivia Lang, Nikesh Shukla and Musa Okwonga. It's even... No, I thought it was autographed, but it isn't. It's just the font. When was this published? Oh, this year, 2019. Is this her first novel? I guess so. Interestingly, her dedication is for myself. I rather like that. So this is about tracing who we are. But what interested me about this was obviously Archivist. So there's probably lots of stuff about writing in here, but it's about her, bringing in her body and her, use the word visceral. So I'm looking forward to that. Next. This is also from Marketplace by the look of it. And irritatingly, they sellotaped the cardboard. Optic Nerve by Maria Gainsa. So women novelists at the moment. Take a bus, get off the bus, go into the museum and walk, simply walk straight into whichever picture is calling you. Oh yes, I remember, it's another quote from Claire Louise Bennett. It seems to be all over these books. Sophisticated and fascinating, I was reminded of John Berger's ways of seeing, enfolded in tender and exuberant personal narratives. So I'm a big fan of John Berger, ways of seeing. Let's read the actual blurb. Whenever I'm in survival mode, I find myself magnetised by museums and galleries, like people running for air raid shelters in wartime. That's an interesting image. A Woman Searches Buenos Aires. So that's another Argentinian novel. This is my third so far this year. A Woman Searches Buenos Aires for the paintings that are her inspiration and her refuge. Her life, she is a young mother with a complicated family, is sometimes overwhelming, but among the canvases, often little-known works in quiet rooms, she finds clarity and a sense of who she is. Her knowledge of art is seductive, her anecdotes provocative and generous. What she wants to know is the connection between a painting and the person who is moved by it. As Optic nerve takes us into its confidence, it offers up its own particular answer, one that leaves us emboldened, more appreciative of what we see and hear, and more curious about the world. That sounds absolutely fascinating. So her knowledge of art is seductive, her anecdotes provocative and generous. So there sounds like there's going to be some art criticism within here, which is, again, quite like John Berger. This also, published this year, and again, looks like a debut. So looking forward to that. In fact, of the three so far, I'd probably put that at the top of my list. Now this is an Amazon, so I suspect there's two books in here. Maybe two that weren't on Marketplace. Yeah. Oh yes, Lissa Evans, Their Finest, as in Their Finest Hour, a quote from Churchill in the Second World War. So I read Lissa Evans's Old Baggage and was very taken with it. I gave it 5 stars. I thought, I want to read something else by her. So this is the one I came on. I probably won't read it this year though. I tend not to read too many authors more than once a year. In 1940, in a small advertising agency in Soho, Catherine Cole writes snappy lines for Vida Elastic and Sobe Fee Gravy Browning. But the nation is in peril, all skills are transferable, and there's a place in the war effort for those who have a knack with words. Catherine is conscripted to the world of propaganda films. Yeah, right up my street. After a short spell promoting the joy of Swedes for the Ministry of Food, she finds herself writing dialogue for Just an Ordinary Wednesday, a heartwarming but largely fabricated true story about rescue and romance on the beaches of Dunkirk. And as bombs start to fall on London, she discovers that there's just as much drama, comedy and passion behind the scenes as there is in front of the camera. I really like her style, so I hope this is, like the style of Old Baggage. Travelling in a Strange Land by David Park. Oh, so the first novel by a male author. Roddy Doyle says he's one of Ireland's great novelists. I've never heard of David Park, I'm afraid. This is presumably not his first. I know he's got a ton of one. I haven't heard of any of these. Okay, so the book itself. The world is shrouded in snow, transport has grounded to a halt. Tom must venture out into a transformed and treacherous landscape to collect his son, sick and stranded in student lodgings. But on the solitary drive from Belfast to Sunderland, Tom will be drawn into another journey, one without map or guide, and is forced to chart pathways of family history haunted by memory and clouded in regret. Written in spare crystalline prose by one of the most important voices in contemporary Irish writing, Travelling in a Strange Land is a work of exquisite loss and transformative grace. It is a novel about fathers and sons, grief, memory, family and love, about the gulfs that lie between us and those we love and the wrong turns that we take on our way to find them. Now normally that would not be a Mark Nash kind of book at all, but it was the Belfast Northern Ireland thing. As you know, I'm all over that at the moment, partly because my current book is set there. So, I'm not sure about this, but we'll see. We'll see. Is that it? One more actually still packaged. And then there's one that I opened before I placed these orders. Ali Smith, Spring. So, part 3 of my ongoing fencing with Ali Smith. I read Autumn, I read Winter. I'm unsure about them. I've got dedicated videos to both. I'll post the link to both. It's going to be weird because if this doesn't sort of do it for me, I'm probably not going to read the 4th in the trilogy. If I'm still bamboozled by, where all these books are heading, I'm probably not going to be interested enough or motivated enough to read the 4th, which is kind of a weird situation. So I really hope this one jogs me to want to read the 4th. And finally, Do You Dream of Terra 2 by Temi O. So this is science fiction, as you can probably tell by the fact there's an astronaut on the front. And I was trying to rack my brains. I've read very little sci-fi written by women writers. I suppose you could call maybe Lenny Zumas's Red Clocks, maybe sci-fi. But so I'll read the back of this. There is a strange dissociation that comes from seeing something for the first time in real life, when you have seen it thousands of times before on television or in magazines. The Eiffel Tower, the Angel of the North, a solar eclipse, which is a very baffling threesome to put together. But that's the nature of hyperreality, which is an absolute obsession of mine as a writer and a reader. You know, you think you know all these famous landmarks and that because you see them on TV and in magazines and all that sort of stuff. But, you know, how can the real thing compare when you actually go and see it? You know, does the scale dwarf you and impress you, or is it, oh, you know, it's no different to the picture that I saw? Poppy had anticipated that she would feel that same detached familiarity when she finally saw Earth from space. But that afternoon after the launch in the shuttle, Poppy realised that she had been mistaken. Realised that, in the vast solar system, her planet was the greatest sight to see. Impossible not to marvel at it, to tremble in its light, whirls of clouds larger than mountains but delicate as breath, ivory vapour trails, so much dark sea. When she finally beheld it with her own eyes, and not through satellite images, she began to cry. Okay. Poppy felt like Lot's wife as she gazed at the deserts and the sea. Ripples in the sand dunes appeared as black striations against the golden ground. The coastlines were a brilliant chrome blue, and the mountain ranges were like scars on the earth. Poppy felt it for the first time, a scintilla of doubt. Her own sickness, homesickness. So that sounds really good. Quite a chunky book. 400 odd pages. This is her first novel. So lots of these novels are debut novels, which is sort of completely unplanned. There's really only Ali Smith and David Park. Oh, and of course Lisa Evans. They are well into their careers. But the other four women are all debut novels, as far as I... Oh no, Luiselli's not a debut, sorry. The other three novels are all debuts, so Temi, Maria Gainsa and Yara Rodriguez Fowler. So, having just picked them all up, as I say, Lisa Evans will be next year. Ali Smith, spring, and I know we're entering spring as the clocks actually go forward tonight in the UK. But I'm not in a hurry to read this, I'm afraid. Luiselli would be nice to read before they shortlist the women's prize for fiction. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to do that. Not sure about this, because since I've sort of first listed it, I kind of almost gone off the idea, but I will give it a chance. So I think, you know, Temi, I have to be in the mood for science fiction, so that probably won't be. But I think these two, I'm really looking forward to reading quite soon. Optic Nerve by Maria Gainsa and Stubborn Archivist by Yara Rodriguez Fowler. I think they're going to be two of my upcoming reads. I've got a buddy read starting at the beginning of April, but after that I haven't really got anything planned at all. So these two might wend their way to the top of my pile. Okay, so that's it. Till next time, thanks very much.